I haven't been able to play for about 10 days, so we're getting back on track here. A minor item of interest is, I guess, that my audio is coming through on my stream, so that's cool. Yeah, 10 days off. Something like that. I don't know if it was 10. I think it's 10. About 10. Doesn't matter. Been a while, anyway. And I want to finish this, and I've got some time to do it, so I think I'm going to try to finish it tonight. And there's a few things I could do to get it done. At this point, I've got an airship. I need to do the volcano, waterfall, sea shrine, mirage tower. What way would be the most interesting for this particular team? Hard to say. This is this crazy classic playthrough. It looks like... Oh, everything's all screwy in the stream, isn't it? Oh no, it's all good. Okay. I should shut up. Alright. We've got just a couple casting weapons. It would be nice to have more, but we got some of the important ones. Got lots of magic. Got very little money. Well, that's one thing we should do is get that giant gold room in the ice cave. Let's do the volcano. It'll be easiest. It'll be fast. But then again, there's all that treasure to sell. You know what? Let's do the volcano. I'm here. If you were watching the stream really closely, and right now I've got very little audience, so I would be very surprised. You might notice that my gold and experience might have gone up marginally if you're very perceptive. And what was happening was I was looking for some memory addresses for the scripts I've been writing, and I think I saved after I fought like a small number of imps and some river enemies. So it's a very trivial difference, but it's there just in case anyone's doubting the veracity of this. I don't think anyone is, for many reasons. Part of it being nobody's watching. But part of it being no one cares, because this isn't a challenge run. This is a weird run. I wouldn't call it a challenge. In a lot of ways, well, I was going to say in a lot of ways it's easier than a vanilla run, but it's not. It's the only advantage I have is starting with a knight instead of a fighter, and seeing as they're statistically identical with the patch I'm using, I should probably call it a hack. The only difference is the new equipment and spells that a knight can use over a fighter. And in the early game, before a class change, you don't have any of those pieces of equipment. And there's magic that a knight can use that a fighter can't, but I still don't have the spell charges, because those don't kick in until at least level 15. Oh yeah, my script. Let's run it. Makes the... I did a couple minor enhancements to it. Minor. The spacing is a little better for the some of the stats, and I think the status effects will show up a little more clearly. And I'm working on getting cute little icons to display, and I'm working on getting enemy data to display. Will I have that done by the time I'm done this run and won't come back to Final Fantasy 1 for a while? There's a good chance no. There's a good chance that is not true. This will be a fire. Oh, 2 fires. You guys casting spellcasting items is more valuable right now. I should really get one for Lena. Maybe I should have done Waterfall. Then I'd at least have the Defender and a ribbon. The Waterfall's quick and easy. What am I doing here? I should have done the Waterfall. Oh well. Well, maybe with the Zeus Gauntlet we'll make some progress. Progress made. Yeah, that was almost helpful. You don't have anything, right? No, you don't. The reason I put the spellcasting items on the characters I did is because Lena has some capacity as a blaster type with all those spell charges. So, yeah. Would be a little bit more redundant on Lena than it would be on someone else. Wow, those guys are almost a full level ahead of Lena. Silver helmet. I don't think that's useful. I mean, I can keep it to sell, but there's going to be a lot more of that. For some reason, Volcano's loaded with silver gear. I don't know who thought, like, I'm going to put all my silver in that volcano. Seems like a good place for my silver. Silver has a relatively low melting point. Money's good. As dumb as it'll seem that I don't think it will seem dumb. As silly as it seems that I'm trudging through like every battle in the volcano, trying to get a reasonable number of the chests in the volcano. I spent all my money on the bottle, and any money I can accumulate is going to go toward the high level equipment that I can buy in the later towns. And some spells, if there's extra money kicking around. But the main thing is the pro rings, really. That'll make an enormous difference to my team. Yeah, getting a ribbon would have been very smart, but, you know, we're on the second floor. We're in too deep. I'm on the second floor of my house. Do I want to go to the first floor of my house? Takes more than a screaming child to get me down those stairs. The new spacing for the stats, I hope it makes things a little more clear. There's a little indentation that I think makes it easier to read. But what'll get interesting is when those numbers get very high, in excess of 100, you'll see them start to clip over. It'll also show in a numerator-denominator format only when the current is different from the maximum in either direction. So if a stat were reduced, then it would show up with a numerator-denominator format, current and maximum, or current and out-of-battle value, perhaps more correctly. Now, in most stats cases, that can never apply. Really just absorb and evade. Those are really the only stats you can boost in the vanilla version of the game. Due to bugs, mostly. But this will work with a variety of hacks. Any hack that doesn't screw with the window format too much will be able to use this little script. Another thing I'd like to make for this game, if I end up with a lot of free time, and there's some programming experimentation I just want to do during the summer for reasons, but one thing I want to do is make a New Game Plus utility that allows you to export from SRAM or from save state any party and export it in an SRAM or save state format. So it'll basically allow you to port endgame parties between instances of Final Fantasy on your computer, to put it one way, or within the same instance, and so you could start the game again with an endgame party. That particular loadout could probably have been adjusted more effectively, but it's not really the biggest deal. There's only one enemy here that's really dangerous. You might notice my shirt. I got a cool shirt from my very first nerd blog, actually, that I got back last year. And late last year. And the nerd block came with this shirt. My wife had no idea what it was. It was funny. She bought the nerd block for me, the subscription. But it's Ultros fighting a bomb. And then on the bottom, there's a bunch of other Final Fantasy monsters. So you got a Moogle, Chocobo, Mimic, Cactuar, Flan, something goblin-like, a behemoth, what appears to be a Moomba, Tonberry. It's pretty cool. The first time I washed it, I didn't wash it inside out as advised on the label, and so there's kind of a big black mark through the bomb, but otherwise I think it's a pretty amazing Final Fantasy shirt. It's a cool shirt to wear around, and anyone who gets it is my new best friend. So far that's happened once. It was someone who I liked anyway. Not a good friend. It was someone who surprised me that they knew it, and it's just a way to relate to that person instantly. And I guess that's what novelty shirts are all about. Or non-novelty shirts. I heard something really good from one of my students about wearing a college-branded shirt to an interview. And they said it gave me something to talk about other than the job. It really broke the ice. It really helped me. I thought that was really neat. I had told them it was a good idea without 100% believing it. It was kind of hearsay for me, but I had heard that it was a good idea. But then the student told me, no, that actually was a difference maker. So that's neat. I was talking a while ago about ecosystems in games. I think it's interesting that there are hyenas in a volcano. I wonder what they eat. At least hyenas are scavengers, right? So they could probably get by. If there's all these other monsters here. The question is really more what the other monsters are eating. And you can't say hyenas. That won't work. That is unsustainable. These enemies we were seeing back in the marsh cave, and they're not very dangerous at all. Kind of nice to fight though, considering how vulnerable they are to that goose gauntlet is what I was going to say there. Goose gauntlet, that's cool. Hit them with the goose gauntlet. So I had foreshadowed very early in the run how Bartz was going to be carrying the team. We've come back to that a couple times, and I've said kind of now it's happening. Well, now it's happening more. If it weren't for the spellcasting items, no one would be doing anything else in these combats. Ferris has some degree of offensive potential. Against a weak enemy like these guys, he could probably attack, but it's kind of more valuable to have him constantly healing the team. And the Zeus Gauntlet can screen wipe in most cases. Not that case, but hey, that was cool. Then I knifed a bird. I've never knifed a bird. My nose is itchy. Might have something to do with this hair. You might notice I'm a little bit on vacation here. I'm furry. My wife both likes it and doesn't. She likes to look at me, but she doesn't like to touch me. I would like to finish this run tonight. I've got a few hours. It'd be pretty nice. And then we can do actual 4-job Fiesta. That'd be super cool. I don't really know what I'm doing with this strategy. Let's just see how it goes. Ice didn't do very much damage. One thing that's interesting is in all my time streaming, I rarely do more than, 2.5 hours. I don't think I've just said barely over 2.5 hours. I've never done a be right back screen. I've never had to pee during a stream. Today I'm gonna have to. I just had a tea, I realized, and now I've got a big cup of water. Hey, that's useful. Not very, but useful. It would be interesting if you compared my movements through this game with my previous runs. Do I collect the treasure chests in the exact same order or not? I bet it's close. There's like a spot in the room that's the most efficient way to get to most of the chests, and then from there there's only one way to get the rest of them. And I bet I do it every time. I wonder if everyone does. I wonder if most experienced Final Fantasy I players do, rather. Not everyone. Not everyone has played this game. And that's fine. Yeah, thought so. But I wasn't sure. Some of this is just for sale. So the nice thing about the Zeus Gauntlet, as opposed to Gluff's regular attack, I believe Gluff is still only... Was he hitting once or twice? I think once. And that means his hit rate is low. He can hit, he can miss. If he hits, he can do damage, but usually not that much. The Zeus Gauntlet is consistent, hits all the enemies for what that's worth when that comes into play. Here's an example where it will. You know, he should attack. And I don't know if it can do more damage or not. I think it can. Oh, darn. Not a screen wipe. But at least we're not getting instant death like crazy, because that's what these particular mean birds can do. There's not more treasure here, is there? What am I should leave, right? Let's leave. I don't remember if there's more treasure on this floor. I don't think there is. You know, if there is, it's nothing important. And there are a couple of items here that are important. There's a fire shield. There's flame armor. Is it called fire armor or flame armor? Doesn't really matter. Same kind of thing. There's ice sword, which I already have and will not be useful, or no, won't be useful. Yeah, there's some stuff. This is the floor where you take a lot of damage. Sometimes it's better to stay in the lava. The enemies don't attack you while you're on the lava, and you take 1 damage per square. It's just a little rough when you got a black mage, because they get hurt a lot. Lena's still got reasonable HP though, so let's not whine too much. I wonder if I should have attacked the Cerebus before the Wizogre. Yes, Cerebus. A lot of these enemies have a special attack, but some of them are really weak. Is Cremate the one that's really, really weak? I think it might be the Cerebus guys. Because, I mean, that didn't do crazy damage to anyone. Most damage I've had lately was from walking on lava tiles. I mean, the fire elementals hit hard, but they're not really wrecking my day. Am I going the right way? Yes, I am. Here's treasure. Oops. I should have known. There's a lot of spiked squares in obvious places. My son and I have been playing Animal Crossing a fair bit, New Leaf on the DS. And there's a thing where you can set your town song. I was thinking I wanted to start my own town and have the song, because you get exactly 16 notes and 16 beats, but make it the pick bass from the start of the Final Fantasy music, right? The battle music. Final Fantasy 1 through 6 are all like that. Do 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 do. Oh, I hit the spiked square again. Name my city Caneria, have a whole Final Fantasy themed city. You wouldn't really be able to do that. You can't control it very much in Animal Crossing, but it's pretty cool. And pretty cool for my son, who's kind of at the age where he's learning to read. It's a neat little thing for him to interact with and control. He's kind of learning the control and rules in a way, so the ordinances you can enact is an interesting thing. But we haven't got in too deep. I had never played Animal Crossing before. It's okay. It's very open-ended. There's very little point. But if you just want something to hop on and experience, I guess it's the same thing that people like in MMOs. Well, except people who like socialize on MMOs. I don't know anything about MMOs. Frankly, I've never really played them. You know what? I played RuneScape for a reasonable amount of time with a reasonable amount of dedication. But then I stopped. A lot of people don't know how to do that. And I have friends who've been off and on World of Warcraft basically since the beginning of time. No, let's keep heal staffing. Healing the staff. Though it's boring to watch a lot of twinkling and healing, healing up your party with the heal staff is a very... I mean, think of how many heal potions I'm saving. If 2 of those save me 4 heal potions across the party, it makes a pretty big difference. Nice sword. That is nice. They were going to call it nice sword. That was considered confusing. Two has 2 damage. Nice one. You get pretty used to the item menus when you do a lot of spellcasting items in this game. And you become very aware of it, in a way. Not sure exactly how to explain what I'm saying here. But when I was actively involved in the tool-assisted speedrunning community, I would look for things like that. And in the first few published runs of Final Fantasy, the first one was really bad, for one thing. It feels very strange throwing out the ice shield. But, sorry. I was looking for how effectively... Was this where I was? I might not be keeping very effective track here. Oh, that must be irritating if you're watching this at 30 frames per second. Because it's going to blink like flashing white, isn't it? Am I wrong? I don't know. You tell me. YouTube does that thing where it cuts out every other frame of almost any recording, right? No matter what the frame rate is. And so you end up with oddities when there's flickering. Where things look like they're flickering badly. Or in some cases not flickering. Like you watch a Mega Man game and you're not aware of his invincibility period. Walk a long way. I was talking to something a while ago and I totally got sidetracked. And that's just going to have to be okay because I've forgotten it. All because of the flickering. I know I got the flame shield. That was the thing that happened. Scorch 4, 24, 24, 12. Scorch is a pretty lame attack. But it would wear you down if you were fighting tons and tons of Sarah buses. They had enough characters to fit the proper name of that thing. What happened? It's not the most terrible thing in the history of translation. It's just strange. Cerebus. Oh, this guy is great. He gives me so much experience. Hit points are looking a little low on a few of my team here. Whatever I was talking about seemed, like I thought it was... I'm not going to say that anything I say on this stream is useful, but not pointless. I was saying something not pointless and I forget what it was. The nice if someone was in the chat to remind me of these things. Very absent-minded. Ooh, wooden staff. Oh, I didn't know this was here. That's funny. So yeah, I thought about having Lena use ice to very slightly expedite this battle. Then I chose not to, and it's because level 2 black magic has both slow and dark. And if you can land them on the boss here, it's actually pretty handy. She's vulnerable to status spells. And oh, it was neat seeing that. There was a little hiccup on Ferris's status window in my script GUI. If you were seeing that, it would be kind of neat. It popped up her recorded value for one of her stats, and consequently it showed up in a numerator-denominator format for a fraction of a second. Well, we're near the end. May as well use the big guns. And fire 3, where else are we going to use that? In the volcano. That was good. I was happy with that. So here we run into 2 spiked squares on the way to that treasure chest. Agama right here, or Agama, I don't know what the heck you do to say these words. What do you do to say these words? So yeah, my point was about talking about level 2 magics. Landing those status effects could be useful depending on how that fight with the boss goes, the Merilith fight. Say it one way. It's not because I want to cast the ice spell. I have better offensive spells, but I don't think Lena will be concentrating on offense. Look at that, that's not any better than Scorch. Let's whip out a Hell 2 to get ready for the boss here. You do something significant. We need that. Oh, that could hurt. Oh! Oh, that's rather dramatic. Oh, this isn't going too well. L2 is that same level as life, also. I was going to say life 2, but that would be wrong. This is sucky. I should use A-Fire. Oh no. I don't want to solo the Feet of Fire. That's what you're supposed to do. Come on now, guys. Wowie. What's funny is I didn't even really need that. The ice armor is just as strong. Okay. What are we doing? Oh, crap. Well, let's keep Lena alive. I say purposefully. Really, just because she's the furthest behind in experience is what I was thinking. I told you become aware of cursor movements. Oh, that's what I was talking about earlier. Cursor movements. Fun topics here on my stream. Yeah. Cursor movements. When the Axeman was doing his first run, actually it was after his first run was published, I think. I watched it and realized like there were a couple of points where you could have pushed down left and instead you did up left or something like that to move through a menu selection more quickly. And he told me, that's going to save me 2 frames. I was like, I thought I was really helping. I saved you 2 frames. No one will ever care about 2 frames. 2 frames ends up mattering. Well, I no longer need more than 1 casting of fast, so that's a bonus. That's actually fairly strong. Ferris, I'm sure, is going to regret being face down. But this is going okay. We'll be fine. Use your violence. Now this is kind of funny. The only thing that's really going to be effective here is healing, ruse, and mute. Landing mute will be helpful, so let's try it. You can do all kinds of things. It would be nice to do slow, to do dark, and certainly to do fast. That worked, didn't it? That's amazing. Wow. This is going to go well. Six hits. Ooh, that was pretty nasty. Okay, Dark was ineffective. Now looking at when I watched Gullup's stat window, so now Evade is boosted, so 139 out of 59, so that displays that way now. If I get that up, oops, see? That was accidental. Oh, silenced, cool. I didn't even really think about using A-Fire. Their Gullup's Evade is now very, very high. Carry is dark, as in can't see anything. You're unhittable, right, Gullup? 255? Yeah. Sure. May as well make her even more useless. But I think this fight's going to be over pretty quickly. This is going very well, all things considered. Slow. Oh, it didn't work. That'd be cool. Too bad. It would have been fun. It's not like it's necessary. Oh, wow. So the way that battle went was Kari was prevented from casting spells. Then blinded. And so her physical and magical offense was largely taken away. Then Gullup's evade was boosted so that Gullup, even though she took a terribly hard hit, there was no way Gullup could really lose the battle besides a string of criticals. That would be kind of unlikely. And then I attempted to slow Kari, and what that means is instead of attempting like 4 or 6 attacks, whatever it is, she'd get 1. And so that would further butcher the offensive capabilities. So that one was less a matter of blasting and more a matter of let's make this fight stupid. Best example of that I can think from other media, not even other media, other video games. Final Fantasy Tactics, the way when you're trying to find the exits in Deep Dungeon, you turn your enemy into like a chicken, frog, sleep, slow, stop, don't move, don't act thing with no equipment because you've broken all the equipment. That's what you do to your opponents. And what's funny is that game, I was talking about that in one of the other streams, about how that game has no running. Can't run, so they just sit there and try to attack you for 1 damage in perpetuity. Let's do that potion business. This is so fun. This is better than EAS. I forgot that I wasn't going to buy pure potions anymore. Got some money. And I can get more money for that matter. I can sell some stuff. I'd like to do the waterfall. Remember me mentioning the waterfall? Did I get the Oxy Ale? Is that in my inventory? No, so I need to go to Gaia anyway. Let's do that. a couple flies in my house that kind of drive me nuts. We have kids. Doors get left open. Gonna sell the flame armor. It's kind of weird. Lots of money from it though. Sell a giant sword. I pretty much always sell the giant sword. It's not as good as the ice sword. Silver axe. Second ice sword. Amazing wooden staff. That's it. So 10k. This is gonna be good though. Pro rings. Let's sell some gloves. Yeah. I wish I had a little bit more, and I would get gold. Well, I've got one gold bracelet. I'm gonna get an opal bracelet. I do still want one. Oh well. We're gonna get rid of it soon. That's not the same thing. Pretty good equipment though. I'm not going to worry about main dudes versus ribbon or status defense. We get more pro rings as the game goes on, and it's possible he'll get death attack, but he's also the one least prone to it. Oh, look at that, he got his magic charges. That's cool. Alright. Waterfall. We'll do waterfall. Get an even better sword. Damn it, I forgot to get the Oxio. Stupid game. I mean, stupid me. I blame the game for that. I am able to get it, right? I did the bottle. Oops, that was dumb. Oops, that was dumb. Nothing. That store always looks strange to me. Is it supposed to be like an overgrown store? The one that has half, like, ferns growing on it? There's the Oxio. Never have to walk that way again. Okay. They should really have a fairly substantial defensive benefit from the pro rings. I think I just cheaped out on Ferris, right? Ferris has terrible defense and everyone else is good. I don't remember what this guy's weak against. He says, you guys look weak against poison. In D&D lore, from which these guys hail, they're basically poo, as I understand it. Some kind of sentient poo monster. In Final Fantasy, they turn out to be big plants that sometimes kind of dance a little, because they appear in a number of games. Maybe I should be balancing things out a little bit. Oh no, I did. Yeah, I'm not worried with the state of things there. I thought the gators were weak against ice. Guess not. Useful message. Yeah, the messages that come with things, it's funny how useless so many of them were. And there's so many in... There's these hard-to-trigger ones in, like, Secret of Mana was one of them. Final Fantasy IV has one. It shows some goofy message, something to do with two-handed weapons. Yeah, but no one seemed to check these things. It's the problem with software testing, right? This is why it's an industry, is because everyone thinks they know their, or they think they're the person to test their application because they wrote it, but that makes you not the person to test your application. Alright. See if we can remember our way through this place. This is, I think I've commented on this before. This map wraps around. And I think it's like the only one in the game that does. Not known anyway that's a... Oh, well, there is one other one that's pretty obvious and it's coming out fairly soon. But, in a way that makes this seem more confusing than it is, or bigger than it is. I think I might have remembered the route. That's exciting. You do something that results in dead birds. Electrum or something. I'm not supposed to say things like that on here. But I mean, regardless of partisan politics, birds are going to die, right? With the decisions that have been made, the birds are in danger. And I don't think any Trump supporter would ever say, and I'm not ragging on Trump supporters, but I don't think a Trump supporter would say he is doing his best to save birds. The fact is, he does not care about birds. I think everyone knows that. Birds aren't high on the list. I didn't realize these guys were so resilient. This is also a really nice dungeon to have exit warp form. But then again, you know, I'm not really getting lost. I hope I'll be able to find my way the way I came. The golems all have funny effects in D&D. You use something to them and they go crazy. I think it must be the iron one, that the electricity is what gets them going haywire. If I remember correctly, mud golems are like clay golems. They're a thing that makes them, it empowers them to be hit with like acid damage. I think that's considered earthen in D&D lore. Man, I talked a good game about trying to finish today, but I don't know. I'd like to. I'm sure I'll run out of babble by the end of this. Because sometimes when I get tired, this stream goes really bad. It doesn't help that very few people interact with me. I should probably have redone the image now that the Fiesta is underway. It's a pretty minor point. But it says an annual charity event starts on June 17th. And here we are on June 27th. Yeah, so mud golems being able to poison you is also because of that thing where they're empowered by acid damage. I believe that's the case. Bards, even without too much in the way of elemental protections, isn't being poisoned so much anymore. It's because fighters and knights gain a lot of magic resistance. You can see his magic resistance is 63. Compared to the monsters, especially bosses, that's actually fairly low. I think all the bosses in the game have a magic defense of 200, which makes a lot of magic attacks fairly useless against them. The 63 is a lot higher than everyone else in the party. Oh yes, I love this big square. That killed the wizard only? Oh, because of the attack already, yeah. That's nice. That eliminates some of the danger factor here. Oh, and this will eliminate more of it. Now there is relatively little danger. Wizard staff. Well, it would be something for Lennon to do. I don't think she can use it, can she? You guys can. Ribbon on N, that's a difference maker. Looking pretty good there. So what I'm doing is defending Galu, because Galu's the healer. Seems pretty natural to me, right? Not too worried about anyone else's defenses right now. The ribbon resists all elements, and consequently, essentially all status effects. defense. That's nice too. And a cube. Because they loved playing dice games back in the old days. Let's do the same thing. Because now we got 2 wizard mummies, and we want them to be on fire. There's a lot that could go wrong here. I'm not expecting it, but it's a dangerous battle. No, it doesn't one-shot the wizard mummy. Wizard mummies aren't especially dangerous. I'd like to know if they were dangerous enemies. Technically, there's a small chance of running into gas dragons in this dungeon. I bet they inflict sleep just like regular mummies, the wizard mummies. I mean, they give you huge amounts of money, that's for sure. They have mummies and wizard mummies have fairly high absorb for regular enemies, and the wizard mummies have a fair bit of HP, so they're just harder to take down. They go down to all the same things. I don't know what kind of monster exactly wizard mummies are supposed to be. Just a greater mummy? Is that a thing? It's not the Tom Cruise one, right? We were talking about a greater mummy. We were talking about Dwayne Johnson. My wife and I were talking about this. It's kind of weird. We like most of the Mission Impossible films. We thought that Ghost Protocol was a good film. For an action film. And we watch a lot of action films. We don't watch art films because then they're bomb. But we watched a lot of action films. We thought Ghost Protocol was a very good one. And what everyone was afterwards was pretty good. Not as good, but pretty good. I wonder about that wizard stuff. That's not going to work here, right? No, it's not. So then Tom Cruise goes and does Jack Reacher, which is basically like a spy action film. We're thinking, why is this happening? You already have Mission Impossible, and it's pretty good. And then now there's Tom Cruise as the lead in The Mummy. You don't need another action franchise. You already have 2. One of them makes money for you. One of them I don't know why you're doing in the first movie. Now he has the lead in 3 action franchises, and one is good, and I don't know why he doesn't just kind of focus on that. Not that I'm really concerned with how Tom Cruise spends his time or money. Ultimately, it ends up entertaining us. And who doesn't love watching him jump on the couch? Well, maybe we'll use some fur-twos. We got a whole bunch of them. We don't have a terrible amount in front of us. The question is, should I go back for some more armor, or should I just go to the sea shrine? Grabbing one more pro ring could be nice. Grabbing a gold bracelet could be nice. I think it might be worth it. I think I might do it. Do my mages all have reasonable amounts of spells? Yeah, you got level 6 spells. Sure. I'm not even sure why I'm using the things I'm using, but I'm not feeling like there's any real risk right now. If the gas dragons show up, then there will be some risk. I think it's just one gas dragon in the waterfall, but one gas dragon would be pretty bad, actually. If they got the drop on me and a little bit of poison gas happened, my team would say, this is most unfortunate. That's what they would say. Nightmares are boring to fight. Oh man. Full HP. Not sure why I'm using heal staff. Or is everyone level 17 now? Yep. Good timing. Last step. Yeah, I think we'll pop over to Gaia and buy a couple things. We don't need ice swords anymore. Ice swords are worth a lot of money. Are these guys not weak against lightning? Oh, come on. I could do a better job stabbing a fish. Oh, you know, back when I was doing the band something run, the game felt exciting. And even when it wasn't going well, it was fun to play. Yes, there was tension in those parts that were the least fun. That's for sure. The Bayou kite run started out really interesting, but got kind of dry because the game wasn't very challenging. This run is very normal and limits my options enough that I would call it not terribly fun. And yeah, so here I am, fast forward. I think my next run I should do randomizer. But you know, I'm not going to come back to Final Fantasy 1 for a while. I have other Final Fantasy games to play. I'm going to play through 5, and I think 3, and I think some kind of variant of 4 and 6 somehow, I think. I'd like to play Tactics, but that's the hardest one to do on PC, frankly. These guys, the critical hit machines. Yeah, why not? I might even do Tactics Advance. That one's tricky. I don't know how I'm going to get them to be Bartz, Ferris, Gallop, and Lena. We got our humans, Moogles, Viera, Numu, and Banga in that game. Doesn't really fit the mold quite so well. How do you, the knight, the closest thing that game has to a knight is a Mog Knight. There's a human thief and a Moogle thief. There's a white mage in the Viera, Numu, and human, I think. And black mages, human, Numu, and Moogle. But there's also laws, and the laws restrict which kinds of races can be attacked from time to time. It's fairly surreal how that would happen. So, what am I doing, by the way? Oh, I don't need another program. What I need is a gold bracelet. So, I guess I'll do Ferris. That's good. Not worried about Barton's program. my level 7 magic one here. Who is the best level 7 magic? Well, there's Ice 3. Can't go wrong with Ice 3. Cure 4. Can't go wrong with Cure 4. Can we get those? I don't remember. Right. I forgot about this little tricky restriction. Okay. Yeah. No, I literally kind of forgot that that was going to be a factor. So you have lots of, you have lit 3 and stun. Lena, you can't learn, or Galaf, can't learn Exit. Soft is dumb to learn. Already know Fog. Learn in. You know, well, Rub is a bad spell. So we're gonna learn Cake. Tasty cake. It's good. Definitely good. Good. Sea Shrine. You have to do the Sea Shrine before you do anything else, you know, at least in part. I think I may as well do the whole thing. Oh, messing around. It would have been fun. Wouldn't have served at any point, but it would have been fun. So what I ended up finding with regards to enemy status bites, I found where they're located for each of the enemies. I had to find a formation bite. So the reason I was fighting the enemies up here between sessions was I knew that there were very common formations of gators with hydras, and that's a good way to get the formation bite value for formations where there's partly large monsters and partly small monsters. I went to the Crescent Lake area where there's bulls and trolls and giants and peeds to get the value for when there's just large monsters, and then Corneria for when there's just imps, small monsters. And so now I have a value for how the enemies are laid out, and then where the enemy values are. There's a status bite, and it'll tell you the conditions on all the enemies, so that I can make a thing that kind of reports how all the enemies are doing. Could be cool, show their statuses on screen. I think there's a lot of application for that. Should I be running? Is this one of those places where I'm going to run from things? Oh. Another on. Not really a big deal, but... Hey, Ferris and Glove have the same HP value right now. I find that usually my white mage surpasses my thief. Oh no. That Zeus skull is going to get a lot of use here. In Super Metroid, it's very popular to do a reverse boss order run, which is where you fight Ridley first, followed by Dragon, followed by Phantoon, followed by Kraid. In this game, you have to do Lich first on a unmodified, no-code version of the game. But you can do the other three in any order. And I would say it is pretty popular to do Tiamat first, because of the abundance of magic items you get in those final dungeons. Because if I were in here with the Zeus Gauntlet and the Thor Hammer, it would be stupid. There would be no real point. I say point just during the stabbing. I like that. Not intentional. I've got a cat in a stupid place. You might appreciate it if you could look to my right, your left. Oh, I forgot where the money is. We reorganized this room a little bit. In fact, you might even be able to see little differences over my shoulder if you've watched my streams regularly. And why would you? But I guess the cats find it pretty normal. Never been interested in that particular box before, but now it's a very hot place to sit. Where's the money? There's 2 money chests on this floor. You know what I always say? 25 damage dealt is 25 damage earned. Oh, lit too. That's kind of harsh. Look at that damage it did to Lena. Okay, forget the money. We're gonna go upstairs. Speaking of treasure, there's some treasure here. It's a fairly confusing floor layout. Thankfully the encounters are like this one. This dungeon's funny. Such a mix of old and new enemies. With the sharks with the Gur sharks. Arsahags. Are there big eyes? I think there's big eyes that appear with the odd eyes, or vice versa. Red ones. Red eyes that appear with the blue eyes. Confused, confused, ineffective. Perfect. Well, not perfect, but interesting. And interesting because the stronger enemies are the ones that are confused. So they're going to sit here pounding on each other and everything's just going to be okay. This could be a good opportunity to keep using the heal staff until I'm completely better, but there's not really any need for that, I don't think. his hits rate's 96. Does that mean he's got 4 hits now? Is my math right? Yeah. Let's look for some treasure. Confused enemies are funny. Anyone familiar with this game's mechanics is going to be aware of this, but the way that confused enemies damage each other is quite strange. It's hidden from the user, but what just happened, for example, that shark doing 10 damage to that Gur shark, technically the shark cast the fire spell. It's using the index 0 ability to deal its damage, and that happens to be the fire spell. And you'll notice that confused enemies that are attacking themselves and weak against fire, they actually do slightly more damage because it acts as a weakness. And you'll see the resistance as well, and that's probably why that shark only did 10 damage to that Gur shark. Sharks don't even say Gur. What's up with that? I bet they'd like to. I bet a shark would like to be able to make a menacing sound. Probably they'd go doo-doo, right? Ghosts are sucky to fight. They're very strong in terms of their actual just damage. I don't think they're weak against fire either. But there aren't a lot of places to use Fire 3 constructively in this dungeon, so let's hope to take out some ghosts. Wow. I didn't think it would be like that. It's nice. This one will probably go a little closer to what's typical, and by that I mean it'll go badly. But we'll see. 17 damage on a critical. See that? 100 and whatever damage to Bart's? That's crazy. Bart's is well armored. To Bart's without a critical or anything. They do a single hit for a crazy amount of potential damage. Not the highest in the game, but quite high. Probably top 5. For a single hit, top 5. Opal armor. That's a little bit of a difference maker. We're gonna end up chucking that ice armor. It's gonna be weird, but then again, we don't really need it. Well, we do need the opal bracelet. That's quite important. Nothing else is. Yeah, important treasure here. We're looking at the opal bracelet as one. There's a couple of spellcasting weapons, a light axe and a mage staff. As well, there's a ribbon. I will be sad if I miss the ribbon. I mean, it's not like there's points of no return in this game, but yeah, Confuse is pretty underwhelming in this game, but there's few things as satisfying as an enemy clobbering themselves. Maybe it's time for you to get one of these. Yeah. Something that Ferris can use, Lena can use offensively, only against undead, but that's still valuable. With the ghosts here, the light axe is pretty good. Sometimes when I put in the commands in this game, I think of it being a set of orders given by Bartz to the rest of the team, and I don't know why I think the person in the front should be the person in charge, but I do. And I think about Lena being told, "Hey you, the wimpy one, go stab that shark." That's weird. Stabbing a shark is hard. I'd know. Yeah, you already have fire too. That's the right place for that thing. Okay. You can use that. You can use that. You can use that. And if you guys manage to take out even one of them, I'm going to consider that a win. 154 damage is pretty good. 98, 94. So we got 3 in a shade. Oh, see, they took one out. Whoa, Bartz, you're not carrying the team anymore. In fact, you're getting kind of clobbered in this dungeon. One, 2, 3, 5, 0. Well, we don't really need a lot of money in the foreseeable future, which probably means we don't need a lot of money forever. We can buy a bunch of houses. Real estate market's pretty good in this game. Wonderful. Oh yeah. But I think there are level 7 spells we can buy. They're the ones from OnRack. They're not especially great. Should be able to afford whatever we need after this dungeon. Especially since these mermaids are kind of hoarders. Haven't they been underwater for like 2,000 years? Why are they keeping this money? Do they... I don't know, I was talking about ecosystems. We should talk more about video game economies. The economies of classic video games. I'm sure some of them are well thought out. I don't know which those would be. I am... well... until I get my Aegis shield, I'm going to keep the flame shield. Because I'm going to run into chimeras in the Mirage Tower. And it's going to be worth a lot more than 2 points of absorb. Oh, this is the poor mermaid's house. What do you say, poor mermaid? Are we going to become Bubbles? You are, because that's your stripper name. Go out and make some money. That was really clever. I hope someone out there appreciates that. Oh, hey, I even have someone here. That's cool. Lego dude. Hi, how you doing? opal helmet. That's not much of a... May as well improve it for now. I'm going to want the heal helmet later. It's not going to hurt though. Opal gauntlet. Gonna want a pro ring later, but may as well do this for now. That's what we came for. This was the wraparound map I was referring to earlier. I was talking about the waterfall having a wraparound map and that not really being a feature in this game that was utilized for anything. But there's one here. I guess there is one in the Flying Fortress, or whatever it's called, Sky Castle. But yeah, that one's a pretty obvious wraparound room. The wraparound is part of the gameplay. I wonder if we might go straight down to the bottom. I don't think I'm feeling tapped out on resources at all. Why did I use that? That was dumb. That's fun. Fighting enemies that are all confused. There's no mechanic as early as this game where hitting something unconfuses it or anything of the sort. Enemies can get better from confusion, but not really because of the party's influence. I'm sure at some level it is when you get into the RNGs, but... Stall them with your stick, Lena. Hey, it worked. Five damage. So, like I said, that's a fire spell. Fire does not do especially well against Gur sharks. Sharks that say Gur. Managing my armor inventory is going to become a little bit harder. I mean, it's already pretty hard. I've kept my party well equipped from kind of the beginning. But I'm going to want heal helmets. And there are a couple of other things that could end up being important. I like that the regular shark pretty much always gets confused. I'm sure that's one of those magic defense different... Oh, well. That goes to show, too. When those spells do much more damage, there's a doubling that happens. Basically, it's a failed saving throw, to use tabletop speak. And when they fail their saving throw, they take dramatically more damage from things. So that's why that shark was killed in one hit by the Zeus Gauntlet. Have I even used a heal potion? I don't think I have. So let's go the other way. What's Burst's absorb up to? 70. Quite a bit more than the other folks. What's interesting is his evade isn't even that much lower. Fighters have pretty good agility games. Oh, actually, if you look at that, Bart has the highest agility in my party. Better than the Thief. Another hot 5 damage there. That was slow. What else? They're worth money that I don't need. They're worth experience that I don't really need. Surely there's some reason I fought them. And I will fight them again. They're all going to be doing 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 damage to each other. I decided to use Mage Staff, see if that would help take them out. Really, I still want Bartz and Ferris to have more HP, but the best defense is a good offense, right? No, the best defense is the defense sword. That's right, Bartz. Is that Lego dude coming back, or is that someone new watching? My commentary just got really dry. I think I might be hitting a bit of a wall. My hope is to finish this run tonight. I see no real reason why I couldn't. At the end of the game goes pretty quickly. My level, I think, is fine for it. I am probably battling things a little slower because I have so many of these magic items now. I just don't want to keep squandering my magic charges. I'm sure a little bit of bit 3 would only speed things up. Oh, there's my status thing working, so that's showing Ferris is now stunned. I don't remember exactly what would happen when an enemy has multiple statuses. I think it's just a matter of prioritizing. But you know, I think it might have death as the lowest priority now that I think about it. Surely I didn't. I don't know. I changed the way it worked from basically doing priority using else if statements to using sequential if statements. And it's because I want it to be, well, that was very silly of me. I want it to be able to list multiple using cute little icons like you see in a few other games in the series. So in Final Fantasy 4 and 6 and 5, just little icons that pop up for your different status effects. And in other games, well, in... No, did my headset come out? I hope not. Should probably check my volume effects. Yeah. But in Final Fantasies 5 and 6, and then it kind of stayed on in the 3D Final Fantasies actually, there's some kind of visual effect on your characters that helps you to learn what effects they're under. So they blink red when they have haste, or they get a... What's happening here? Is my controller came loose? Is that what changed? I don't know. They get a red skin tone when they're berserk. They flash green when they're poison. They flash white when they're slow. Just different things happen to them to indicate the condition. And that would be helpful in this game. Wow, that was a big hit. Did you see that? 140 damage. In my previous runs, I've talked a little about Kraken being pretty scary to me because I've seen him one-hit a reasonably strong red mage at full health. And that's really what this dungeon's all about. The enemies don't have fancy attacks, but they can really slam single party members, and it's almost a matter of luck, unfortunately, like much of the game. Fari, you gained a level, and you lost a lot of hit points. In case you were wondering, beautiful music filled the air. Yeah, whatever. Okay, I thought I was going to find treasure. I didn't. The only treasure I think I really want is the ribbon. I don't want to miss the ribbon. Must be further down. A couple of those said confused. Here, ribbon. Why did I do that? Basically, Len is not contributing much without using a magic charge, so that wizard staff usage is kind of wasting the turn purposefully. But it is kind of useful. I mean, it stops an enemy from attacking if it works. So, it's better than the sleep spell, which wears off immediately. Confuse doesn't wear off immediately, and there's that tiny bit of damage the enemies can contribute. So, I think Confuse ultimately isn't that bad, to put it a very nice way. I bet a lot of the people I associate with the Final Fantasy board regulars on Game FAQs would find it weird that I use the Wizard Staff as much as I do. It's almost kind of a placeholder. Probably a lot of them would say, why aren't you using real spells, big boy spells? But I don't want to use big boy spells. This looks like where I would find a ribbon. Is it down here? I don't think it's down here. Let's look though. Yeah, this is the kind of enemy group I'm kind of expecting to see here, and I'm not finding it very often. Gonna get poisoned in this battle. Lobsters, I believe they have 3 hits. Yeah, poison. Big range of damage because it's effective here. party won't get reorganized if everyone's poisoned, so that's a bonus. That's pretty nice the way it happened to, well, darn. I put so much thought into that. Galef being second really isn't that bad. I mean, that is the second most defensive-oriented party member I have. But is this water? Water. I hate fighting water. Why did it have to be water? It's a little nature cat reference for you. Apparently water doesn't like ice. To me, it's kind of like shooting water at water. Like spitting on a fish, right? The fish don't really care if you spit on them. It'd be kind of fun if everyone else killed it before Bart's got to it. No. He was getting creamed anyway, right? The spiked squares, though, they're not as ubiquitous here as they are in the volcano, that's for sure. No poison, that's a treat. Lobsters are not actually poisonous. Right? Pretty sure. And I say that as someone with celiac disease. I have to have no gluten. Gluten is considered poisonous to me. And I found that word being used to describe something as innocent as gluten strange when my doctor used it. He said, gluten is toxic to you. You cannot have gluten. It is toxic to you. Anytime you have gluten, you are then healing. And I thought, that's kind of dramatic, saying that it's toxic and I'm healing. But no, that's actually it. So, just like how you don't feed your dogs grapes, you don't feed me gluten. Sure, that'll be fun. Why did I bring up that thing about gluten being toxic? Oh, grapes for dogs, right. Yeah, I guess the word toxic, I don't know exactly what its definition is, but it must be a pretty open-ended definition. So, bread is toxic to me. That's not useful. Yeah. So the power gauntlet would be useful, but it's one of those buggy things. Same power as the Zeus Gauntlet, but it casts Saber, which is the spell that dramatically powers up the user. Very useful in other ports of this game, the Game Boy version, for example. Well, Mr. Sea Troll, you are not going to have a very good battle. Mrs. Sea Troll? I'm not sure. Because the monster's crotch is obscured in that particular sprite. That's the only way I know to identify if something is male or female is by staring directly into the crotch. This is going to be a lit 3, I think, or a lit 2 at the very least. Let's do a lit 2 along with Zeus and all that. I guess with the movement of acceptance and gender as a spectrum, saying stare directly into the crotch is probably not fair, but I am referring to the anatomical state of the gender, not the gender identification. Too bad Bart's got poison, because otherwise this was going to be going really well, I think. Well, see what we can do about that. Or not. Because this is going to end the fight here, isn't it? Oh, love that sound. 8-bit nails on chalkboard. Now, how about that light axe? Maybe keep it on Bard? Yalu's got tons of charges of harm spells. Not really sensible to put it on him. Or her. Where's that ribbon? Hey, this is perfect. This should screen wipe. Hopefully before any casualties, because, man, I just got hit with over 300 hit points of damage before acting. Level 20. Pretty reasonable endgame level, for an experienced player at least. Where's that ribbon left? Love those battle backgrounds, those weathered column looking things. Sea Shrine is an interesting dungeon. You don't see this structure in a lot of later games, where you have to go to both the top and the bottom to kind of get what you need. in a way, the Tower of Babel in Final Fantasy IV is a little bit reminiscent of it, but the traveling between, you never really quite get to do that, at least not freely. The part where you fall near the top of the tower, and since you fell into the underworld, didn't you just fall some massive number of distance, and not even acknowledging that maybe your legs hurt, the ribbon. And then I took a step. That was daring of me. Who wants the ribbon? Fairy or Lena? Probably Lena with that low HP. These are some good clips. We're nearing our end game setup here. Makes one of my cats want to make chuffing noises. I get it. Relax, dude. You're excited about the end game equipment setups. We all are. That's why we're all going. This last floor, as I recall, is huge, and I don't remember why. Or rather, I'm not sure there's a reason why. It's just a very oversized floor, as if it's meant to be decorative. And in the game's lore, perhaps there's reasons for that. Supposedly, the mermaids and people all lived in here. And then Kraken made trouble for everyone, so... Maybe this was the mermaid village is the idea, but the game's graphics don't exactly get that across perfectly. I don't want to get poisoned again. Can we just not get poisoned, guys? Maybe a lit two. Lit two. Lit two with Zeus Gauntlet. Should thin this crowd out a little bit. Nice. That worked out. That part worked out less, but it's not a big deal. Good. Good stuff. Oh, I must have gotten sidetracked here. I'm confused. Is there treasure on this floor? I feel like I've picked up all the treasure of significance. I thought I was on the last floor. Am I on the last floor? I am on the last floor. Okay. I've played this game a lot. And even just what I've been streaming for different reasons, is a fair bit of exposure to this game. You'd think I would know these things a little better. some of these fights are helping to get my hit points back up with the heal staff involved. I'm done fighting lobsters. No more poison. Yeah. Yeah, poisons are running when your status is clear, and this would be especially true if it weren't so buggy. It's based on, oh man, based on basically a random number between 0 and 15. So when your agility gets high enough, anyone can run pretty reliably. And I wonder, I wasn't paying too much attention to the stat block lately, how Galuf is doing with regards to that. It's not a high agility character, but here we are at level 20. It's possible for every character to be above 15 agility at this point. Let's kind of have a buff round. What's the best move? Probably Fog. Slow is nice, but hard to hit with. So we're gonna fast bards, and then we're gonna go full offense, I think. We just want to make sure nobody dies this round. So our defense is going to show up, and it's going to be interesting. The 3. Gluf's agility is 18. Everyone's agility is over that. Now things get weird because of the bugginess of running. Lena just took a huge amount of damage. That probably would have been a one-hit kill if she hadn't been buffed. No, that's not quite accurate based on the numbers, but not ridiculous. Luck 17. Damage normal for everybody. Hit rate normal for everybody. Absorb. You can see the absorbed threshold showing up for everyone. Evade. Some of the party has buffed evade. Not gonna matter though. The blind status marker showed up, so that's kind of cool. That was a lot easier than my last fight with the Fiend, wasn't it? And you know what? That wasn't even that bad. Okay, let's think about what we're gonna do here. We have nothing we want to sell. Nothing we want to sell. But we do have some money. We could technically buy every magic spell here and afford it. So let's try. It'll be fun. Terrible spells. Hey, you can get health 3, but not cure 4? Yeah, whatever. Does Saber even work? I guess it does. Oh. No, it doesn't. Come to think of it. I don't know why I thought it did for a moment there. Blind. Good old blind. Never used it. Never used it even once. There's a couple lower level things I could get, but I don't think they're going to be anything useful. I purchased my magic with quite a bit of kind of thought and purpose in this particular playthrough. So I don't think I have anything I'm saving up for. what we need to do is take a side trip to Melton. Since we're going to Melton anyway, maybe we should fill in our level 5 magic. But our level 5, all we need is black, right? Because all Lena has is Fire 3, which is fine because Fire 3 is great and the other options aren't amazing. They're not terrible. They're not buggy or anything. They're usable. Can't use warp. So slow 2 and Bane. I'm very unlikely to use those. If someone requests it specifically in the chat, I will happily buy Bane. Or, sorry, use Bane. A slab! Not just any slab. A Rosetta Stone slab. So now I should rest, do the trek to Lefen, look at some level 8 magic that I can never use. Speaking of magic I can never use, there's a gap at level 2. Maybe I should get a level 2 spell. What do you have, Galu? Mute, Alet, Lamp, or Invis. Lamp cures blind. Invis is yet another evasion spell. Let's go with this. I'm never going to use that. It's kind of just for fun. Missing some level 3, some level 4. Maybe we'll just buy those since we're around, right? It's in the same place anyway. Level 3 black magic. Do we want to hold or lock 2? Hold is the answer because lock 2 is the worst bugged spell in the game. Oopsie. Oh, dang it. Is it actually worth walking to get to the level 4 magic? Let's try using our violence and see what happens. We should be able to kill a snake by now. Yay! I keep accidentally touching the touchpad on my computer and wrecking things. Okay, so for black magic we got Fast and Ice 2 already. Slept 2 or Conf? I think Conf, even though it's kind of bad. And after I buy something here, which I don't even care what I buy because they're all bad, Amulet or Fear? Fear. Someone's going to be critical of that decision. I'm going to tell you to screw yourself. So now I've got magic 4. I think that's all the magic I can get, except maybe the soft spell. Do I need to go by soft? Maybe I should go by soft. You know, it's possible it could prevent a problem. Can I even get soft? Let's not take that too far into context. It just seems like I should have a complete magic list, especially since I have the money for it. That's the last shopping I need to do in the game, right? And since I have the money, let's go to the expensive inn in the town of Gaia, where it's so expensive because there's continental breakfast. 500 gold. It's a lot more than Caneria. Feeding me gruel. I don't like this. Be nice if I could confuse it. Oh, 58 damage. It was kind of fun doing this with my Vayukai party, which was the Avengers. Because it wasn't a hard fight. Depending on how the hit percentage values had rolled around for Thor and Captain America, it made the fight pretty trivial. I like fighting large groups of giants. Which is funny, because this is going to be another one of those awkward, time-consuming battles. Well, let's do it anyway. They give a lot of money, and I think that's why I like fighting them. Which is funny, because as I was saying, there will be no more combat in the whole game. In a way, once I have the spellcasting items, I like fighting furwolves too. Now, when you don't have spellcasting items, they can be a challenging fight, because if they all use their special attack, it can decimate a team. But once you got these multicast items, you can take them all out pretty quickly, and there's a reasonable level of reward for it. Oh, maybe not that reasonable. Better than wolves. We came here for a chime. We're going to talk to nobody who can give us, except those who can give us a chime. Thanks. I learned a language so that I could read those 9 words. I only speak this sentence and that other sentence explaining it. Oopsie. I popped by the level 8 magic shop there. And then I transitioned the screen several times, which ended up being on purpose. Looking forward to playing something different. It's going to be fun. I feel a little bit, I really committed myself to this game. Screw this. It's just, where's the end boss? Hit the summon end boss button. How many games have those? Chrono Trigger, sort of. Confused troll, cured. My hit points are almost full, so I'm just gonna walk over to the tower now. Hopefully I don't run into T-Rex right here. Although that would be cool. I would happily fight a T-Rex. Sure, I'd win too. I don't want to fight this guy though. Again, it's the risk reward thing. The Ankylos can do huge damage. Our Ankylos, I don't really remember the distinction, besides the fact that those guys give actual money. Oh, the first 2 floors of the Mirage Tower. Quite possibly the best part of the game. You guys were annoying before. I wonder if we might go save, maybe with the house, after the first 2 floors. Especially if Ferris dies. Which seems almost inevitable. Well... Oh, darn. I'm quite tired. Should probably sleep. But it would be nice to be done. But I'm nowhere close to done. We'll see. Very useful. Aegis Shield, I had talked about that. No use for the Flame Shield in this run. So that's nice. I think I should finish this 2-part dungeon before I consider being done for the night. That'll be nice. And this isn't nearly as bad as it seems, if it seems bad. These were a big deal earlier, right? Now I'm not even using Ferris to attack. I just want to use my items that can take them out really quickly. They give a pretty large amount of experience and gold. I don't know what the gold is for. I have to impress the ladies or something. Don't tell my wife. Yeah, 8,000 for that. Warple. That one is super useless. Not just regular useless. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the thing I was going to do, the wizard staff would have no real effect here. So that 2 hits 25 damage is actually more useful. You know, without exit, and having used my level 5 spells, I probably really should go out and save. I think I might still do that. I think I'll do that. And then I'll make a real run. And given that, let's use some real magic. There we go. So that was using a house followed by a 10. The house fully heals you, if I recall correctly. But it saves before it recovers your magic. So if I were to die and have to restart there, I would have no magic points, and that would just be stupid. So choosing not to do that by using a 10 afterwards, a low cost 10. That really serves no purpose. I don't really know why I did that. Compulsion, I guess. And by that I mean rearranging Lena and Galaf. The third person in the party and the fourth person in the party have statistically the same chance of being attacked. I'm getting a lot of surprise attacks so far. Scorch is a really crappy move, but it's still unpleasant. Won't be a lot of Scorch anymore, at least. It's very hard to tell which enemies have a status effect and which don't. So when it says Cerebus cured, you have no idea which of the Cerebus, Cerebi, are cured. So that status effect thing I'm working on, I think that could have a lot of useful applications for people. There's enough nerds playing Final Fantasy 1 that I think we could get a little community going and making cool little scripts for the game. Might end up being valuable. No. I was hoping for some big free healing. Well, none at level. I'm not. There's been really no grinding, right? It's maybe a little bit at the beginning when I did those Kazokus. But, yeah, it's funny how little grinding there's been, and I'm still at such good levels. So this game, well, I've talked about the design for strategic running. I guess that's what's at work here. Not gonna do me much good. Thor Hammer is gonna do me much good. That's a great weapon. Who wants it? I think that makes sense. Oh, we found Dr. Greg House. Wouldn't that be cool? That's wonderful. The sun sword might also be useful. It is useful. Because it'll be the same number of hits at a slightly higher damage rating. Any point in giving the defense to someone else? Probably not. Bard gets hit the most. And there's some reasonable chance that he'll want to switch back to it at some point. So. Why does that keep happening? I think these guys do have an increased surprise rate. Oopsie. Forgot where I was going. Don't you dazzle me. Dazzle is the vampire's special move, which is a single target paralysis. If I were dazzled, I wouldn't have done the one round kill, which really wouldn't be a big deal, but whatever. Anyway, I didn't want them to dazzle me. It just sounded strange, so I thought I'd explain. In general, I don't mind being dazzled. Yeah, how about we change things up a little here? You know what? Yeah, okay, we will change things up here. You guys use this heal stuff. Everyone gets a heal. And we'll do it again. And that should be enough to kill them with 4 lightning 2 equivalents. And by that I mean the Thor hammer and the Zeus gauntlet really cast the same thing, which is like 2. And oh yeah, blue dragon. Does it have a weakness? I don't really remember. I'm sure it's not lightning because it uses lightning, but whatever. Do I say whatever a lot? Ooh. My wife listened in on my online class I was doing earlier. She told me I say a lot. I said that's because I was thinking while I was speaking. I said when I talk to you, I'm probably not doing that. And probably just the same on the stream. Sometimes I say it's usually when I'm distracted. Ferris really got clobbered by that thunder attack. He's wearing a ribbon. How unusual is that? The answer is somewhat unusual. Oh, he's not wearing a ribbon. That's right. That would be the reason why. Yeah, thunder is a nasty attack. Let's go get this thing down here. It's pretty good. This old friend. Who wants the Bane Sword? maybe we'll just leave it here. Galu really only has one spell casting item, for what that's worth. Treasure do I want here? Somewhere tucked away there's another ribbon. I guess I want the adamant. That would be useful. What else do I want? There's some good stuff, of course. Don't need that. Couldn't need that. Yep. Some things I'm not remembering. I feel like this dungeon may have one of those troll chests where you open it and there's like a cloth or a wooden staff or something stupid like that. I don't remember where it is or if it is. Heal helmet. No, that's interesting. I would really like to keep that forever, but I don't think I will. I'll keep it until I get a ribbon, at the very least. Ooh. Just moved in my chair and messed everything up. There's a lot of pro rings here for some reason. I don't want to fight them, they take a long time to kill. They're expecting I have level 8 magic to unload on those guys, I think. And I don't. Get the strike first. Maybe I should strike first. That's probably worthwhile. Yeah, see? I got one heal helmet used to that, and some experience. Oh, and it was experience that leveled Lena and Ferris. Not bad. Made me feel stupid for considering running away. Oh, dear. What will we do? feel like that should work. Based on kind of the mythology, it should. Do I have the heal helmet and the heal staff on the same person? That seems dumb. And I do. I should fix that. No, don't need it. No, don't need it. Do need it. So now we have this awkward situation where there's one treasure I really wanted in this dungeon. My head is itchy. I hope I don't have lice. I'm not expecting to have lice. It's a pro cape, and I don't remember what box it's in. I should have someone smart on here that could tell me. Maybe I should bring up a thing. Is that cheating? It's probably cheating. I'm not going to do that. It would be pretty easy to check out FAQ or something. I'm not going to do it though. Does that make me a hero? I'm not sure. But 22 damage. See, that's what real damage is like, guys. I don't really know what the etiquette is. I'm not really into this stream. I don't really watch streams. Not of this kind of thing, anyway. Yes, these are the white and black robes. They're really good. Arguably better than, I'm sure most people would say, a Bachler. Yeah, which one is black? Because that's more valuable. Damn it. Okay, I'm gonna check. I'm gonna feel stupid about that if I realize that the black mage can equip it, but I don't think they can. Yeah, you need to be a black wizard. So we're gonna play it straight. And that's gonna work like that. Heal helmet's a funny thing. Like, who came up with the idea of a helmet that heals you? I wonder if that's one of those things that came over from D&D. It wouldn't surprise me too much. Why does it... Oh my goodness. My controller keeps doing funky things. Oh, I think I know why the cord is touching a spot where it shouldn't be. That's odd. Someone got muted, so that's interesting. And look, it shows up as mute. Lennon was briefly muted. I don't know if people actually... Did I get this stupid treasure chest? Yeah, I did. Where is the Crow Cave? Why am I even getting these chests? It's really just frustrating me. So what I'll probably end up doing is dropping a pro ring on the least important character, which is probably Ferris, so that I can pick up armor once I get to the floor where I think I know where the Pro Cave is. Pro Cave is an extra 8 absorb, but you know, maybe it's not better than the spellcasting items. But 8 absorb is pretty substantial. But compared to a heal, I don't know. You know? When I think about it the way I just was, 8 absorb. I think it's worth it. Get rid of the Zeus colony, get a Pro Cave. But I don't want to make that tough decision. I'm just going to whip out. Let's get out of here. We're going to go through this dungeon a little faster as a consequence, which is a bonus. I seem to be in no mood to continue playing much longer. And, oh, I can't run from these guys, can I? And yeah, it'll just be a little faster and nicer, and it'll still be fine to beat the game. Probably won't beat the game tonight, but it'll be quick and easy next time. Really just gotta do the final dungeon if I can beat the next boss today. And I see no reason that's not completely realistic. And you know what? If it ended up being an issue, I could come back for the Pro Cave because unlike the white shirt, I won't have trashed it. Skipping a bit more aggressively. Let's see if we run into Warmack. If we run into Warmack, I'm going to fight. Oh, wish it was Warmack. This probably isn't very fun to watch. You'll forgive me. Soon I'll play a real game. Then it'll be okay, right? All those spellcasting items still don't seem to make much of a dent to these guys. And it's funny, it's not like they're especially magic resistant or anything. They're not doing much in the way of damage to me though, that's for sure. Look at this, I'm going to be walking in with almost full HP. You know, I haven't even used very much magic. Good endgame level right there. It's abundant levels. Levels are abundant. Okay, what's the approach here? Defense. Time is weak against this. I could also be putting up my elemental defenses, but with my armor, we're actually pretty good. Let's use the Bane Sword and see what happens. It's got a certain chance of just ending the fight. Let's use Bane. Same reason. You don't have any cool options. Use the heal stick again. So this is fine. Well, let's let it roll. I don't know if I've been able to demonstrate this yet or not anyway, so. Oof. I'm surprised. Poison's a pretty nasty attack. That's that poison gas attack that the gas use. I'm really perplexed. I really see that much. No, it's not unrealistic. Maybe I should just use my violence. Well, we've seen thunder, we've seen... But then everyone's immune to, or not immune, resistant to all these anyway. So, let's just heal. Try one more Bane, maybe. Oh, you know what you should really be doing is casting fast on your useful person. And you are not useful. I regret to inform you. I mean, we knew it from the get-go. It's in the little splash engine, right? Wait, it's up there. He hits. Right now, the person who has the most stuff to do is Galuf, really. There's so much buffing possible. And as well, I didn't realize, but Galuf is the one holding the Bane Sword, which is a great way to kill this thing. At this point, I'm not worried about my ability to win, that's for sure. elemental magic isn't so hot here. Does this work? I don't think that works. Here, you can fight with your weapon. Oh, that's weird. One damage. In 2 levels, Ferris is going to get an extra hit. He'll be up to 3. It's going to be very anticlimactic if that suddenly works. And that's perfectly likely to happen, frankly. Keep knocking things off. Until I'm tired. Kind of like how kids start rubbing their ears, I started currently scratching my head. Well. Yeah, if the Pro Cape were easier to find, I probably would have gone for it. So I guess there's a couple things to do. We're carrying a couple garbage weapons. And I should get the best sword in the game. Well, mocking nature. I do not appreciate you, nature. Is your name Watts? And so what this shenanigans is me realizing, why do I have all of the spellcasting items not at the top of the list? It was otherwise purposeless. That should be a pretty good boost for Mr. Knight. What's hit rate's up to 108, damage 65. Pretty good. It's no longer useful. Is that right? That's all I need to sell? I guess everything else here serves a purpose. Coral sword, maybe not, but pretty good. Whew, I'm tired. Yeah, I should figure out the last dungeon now. Oh, the other hand, done would be nice. I'd hate to get some good long playtime another night and have to cut off partway through, figure out a whole other game completely. I don't spend time figuring out whole games completely. I mean, I guess so far I just keep running the same game, so we're gonna fix that. Look at all those magic charges. That's exciting. I'll be able to cast blind. This was a surprise. Health 3, that could really come in handy. It's gonna be good. Yeah, we're pretty much set for the endgame here. I don't see any reason it should be especially hard. I mean, Ferris is gonna die. We're ready. It's gonna be good. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for your patience. Because maybe it wasn't that fun. I'll try and be fun. It'll be fun when I do real things, right? Thanks.